1 Corinthians chapter 2, 2 Corinthians chapter 8, and Matthew chapter 5. And then once you find Matthew chapter 5, you can just turn back to 1 Corinthians. While you guys are training, I just want to go off of James' message a little bit. It wouldn't have been, this is a testimony that's still blessing me to this day. If it wouldn't have been for me always going to church, having Brother Brent always on me, saying that I needed to be at church. When me and Brandon met, I would, go to his house on the weekends, and then sometimes I would try to skip church to stay at his house. But I always had Brother Brent there pushing me to come to church. Well, through that, I've seen one of my best friends come to know Christ, and then some of his family members as well. So through all of that, your testimony, which part of my message is about your testimony tonight, it speaks loudly. It speaks louder than any words really can. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 1, "And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God." I looked on dictionary.com. I don't have a 1611 dictionary, but I got on dictionary.com and looked up the word testimony. It says, open declaration of or profession as of faith. Our testimony shows what we believe in.
Yeah.
So when we're out in the world, our testimony is what people see in us. People see, we are the light to this world. Our testimony is the light. When an unsaved person sees us, it's not like when we walk into a room where there's a bright light gleaming off of us. They can't see that. They see our actions. They see how we conduct ourselves during the day. Say right before lunch, our second lunch period, we started a little group beforehand. Before lunch starts, we all go and pray. And then afterwards, we go get our lunches. If we weren't to do that, then our school system would stay the same. But since we're doing that, since we're showing that we believe in God, our testimony is showing that we believe in God, we don't know what can happen. There might be some kids who get saved in the school. Our school system might, change. A teacher might see something, and they start joining our group before lunch and start praying. The bigger we can get the group, the better it will be. Another one, and another key word that I have is going to be trials. I do have a title for this message, but it wasn't very good. It was T+T R. I added a little bit of math in there, but Matthew said that's a stupid title. It's just testimony, trials, and rewards. Okay, our testimony through our trials will gain us rewards in the end. So if you'll turn with me to 2 Corinthians chapter 8. I didn't have this chapter marked, so I'll take it all off. All right. In verse 2. "How that in a great trial of affliction, the abundance of their joy and their deep poverty abounded unto the riches of liberality." If you guys don't know, I have my own dictionary. You can't purchase it, because I'm the only one allowed to use the words from it. But I'm going to reinstate the word testimony a lot through this message. Like I said earlier, our testimony through our trials is very, very important. Because during our trials, other people will look at you. Say you're having one of the worst days ever. You wake up, you break something, you broke your glasses perhaps, or you lost a contact on your way to school, or something like that. Your day just starts off really bad. The devil's already hitting you really hard that day. Well, the way that you take the rest of that day is how people are going to look at you. If you take it in the sense of, okay, I'm going to make this the worst day of school for anybody possible, I'm going to make sure that everybody is in the same level that I am, then you're not showing a very good testimony. But if you say, you know what, at least one good thing came out of that this morning. I got to read my Bible. Something happened. Now I can read my Bible, get closer to God, and get on with my day. When people see a better attitude in you, their attitudes are different. How many people like to get rewards for doing good things? Just by raise your hands. I hate rewards. All right. Through trials, after you come out of that trial, you can get a reward. You can get a reward from that trial. Your reward could be helping someone else do it, because now you have the wisdom to what to do through that trial. Or God could give you a reward, maybe an increase in your salary through the trial, or just a blessing in general God could give you. Which goes back to T+T R. If you actually couldn't tell. So if you'll turn with me to Matthew chapter 5, and we're going to look at verse 12 and verse 46. Everybody there? Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted be the prophets which were before you. That was verse 12. And then verse 46. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? The key word through all those verses was the word reward. And it says, even through your persecutions, you'll gain a reward in heaven. It might be a crown to lay at Jesus' feet, which I want like thousands of those to lay at his feet. But I'm going to have to shape up in order to get that. Our testimony through the trials gets the rewards. And the word rewards you usually get for doing something good. Or God gives you rewards for going through something difficult. And I've got 3 different people that I looked at in the Bible that got rewards for their trials because of their testimony. Job is the first one. Job had a pretty hard life. He lost everything he had. How many of you guys want to lose everything you got? I wouldn't want to lose anything either. But he lost everything. His wife said, just curse God. Just get it over with now. But he fought against that. He fought the temptation to curse God. He says it's not God's fault. It's not his fault. It's just another child. It's not him. It's not his problem. And even his friends were against him. His friends said, dude, just finish it. Just get it over with. But, in the end, he got 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, 1,000 she-asses, and 7 sons and 3 daughters. He gained more than what he started with. He gained more than what most people had in that time period. The second person is Rebecca. She was the servant from Abraham to go find a wife bride. And he went and he saw Rebecca, and he asked if he could have some water. She gave him the water, but she went above and beyond to give his camels water also. And camels drink a lot of water. Her trial, in my opinion, her trial was having to run back and forth. It's a physical trial. She had to run back and forth between the well and where the camels were drinking at. And ladies, I chose Rebecca for you guys, just so you guys don't feel left out. And I chose all men. So, but hers was a physical trial. She went back and forth between the well and where the camels drank. And her reward was a husband. God saw it right for her to be married to Isaac. So yes, Miss Chrissy, the Larry is your reward. But there's many ways that God can bless us. You know, hers was through a husband. And that probably also blessed Isaac. You know, he had a wife finally to cook everything for him. Got myself in a little bit of trouble there, but it's okay. The third person I want to talk about is Joseph. Okay, Joseph had some mean brothers. How many of you would sell your siblings into slavery? I wasn't asking that as a question. Well, it was a question, but I didn't mean for you to show it. You could have kept that one in. But he was the favorite to his father. I mean, he got a coat of many colors from his dad. And his brothers didn't like that very much. So they decided to take his coat, throw him in the hole, and sell him. And so, people from Egypt came and picked him up. You all know the story. And so, he went through many hard times while he was in Egypt. You know, you had a lady who went after him and tried to get him to sleep, Pharaoh's wife, and so he got thrown in jail for that. And while he was in jail, Pharaoh had a dream, and Pharaoh wanted someone to interpret the dream for him. And so, after all those trials, and his testimony through those trials, he became second in command of Egypt. He also had the ability to provide for his family. You know, he brought his family into Egypt, and he lived happily ever after. And what I'm really trying to get at is all three of those people have really good testimonies through their trials, and in the end, they gained rewards. So, and not all the rewards will be here. They won't always be on the earth. Some of your rewards will be in heaven. You know, a crown of Jesus' feet. How many people want to put a crown of Jesus' feet? What I'm really trying to get at is that we need to have a light for God. We need to, even through the hard times, always have a light for God. Don't ever let the light go out so that when we're out in the world, people can't see anything different than